everybody, and welcome back to the Sideline Eye podcast. You're very welcome to our preview show, and we're looking ahead to the Junior Championship final coming up this weekend. It takes place on Saturday evening in the box at Athletic Grounds with a throw-in time of 6 o'clock, and it's Ballyhagan taking on Clonard Seconds for the Sean Quinn Cup. I'm delighted to be joined once again by Mark Beattie, and we're going to look at the ins and outs of this game and who we think is going to come out on top. I suppose, Mark, before we actually get into the ins and outs of the game, a championship final, it's a big opportunity for both teams. Obviously, Ballyhagan won it in 2017. They were in intermediate for a couple of years there. They're back down. And Clonard, a mixture of young and old in the team. They're looking for their first. So this is a big opportunity for both teams.
Yeah. For Ballyhagan's perspective, they would definitely be. I'm sure at the start of the year, their goal was to get back to intermediate football. And coming second in the league, sometimes that's a bit of a dampener because you always, when you're junior intermediate, you sort of want to go up with winning a championship. So this is a perfect, it worked out perfect for Ballyhagan. They've already guaranteed their intermediate sort of start. Well, they haven't with Clonard's to win, but they're now hoping that they're going to go through the intermediate football with winning the junior championship. Something that I'm sure they set out at the start of the year to do. That would have been one of their goals, and they're one of the favourites to do it. And they came a late sort of run in the league to get the promotion. So form has been good at the right time of the year. For Clonard, as I spoke about in the semi-final against Thomas Davis, anything from here, it was bonus territory for Clonard. So they're coming into this final, full of confidence, buzzing at training. Clonard, as we said, it's bonus territory, but they're going here to win. And they've been training hard and they're in the right frame of mind for it. So it's just great for both of them to get a chance to win the junior championship.
And I suppose an interesting dynamic to it, Mark, is something that doesn't happen every year. The fact that a seconds team is in the final. Even if Clonard win the game, Ballyhagan go on ahead to Ulster. Yeah. The seconds teams can't qualify for Ulster, and I'm not sure the ins and outs of the rulings, but I just know that's the way it is. So it's just an interesting dynamic that Ballyhagan know this isn't the end of their season. They're going on no matter what happens on Saturday night.
Yeah, but that would be as much as the season will not be over, but for Ballyhagan, it would still, they wouldn't be filling you full of confidence going into Ulster. You want to be going in as winners. To be getting beat by Clonard Seconds and that, it's the wrong way sort of be going into an Ulster. But listen, I'm sure they'll take it if that's what happens. They prolongs their season and have a chance of winning an Ulster championship, which is great. But at the moment, I think both teams will only be thinking of Saturday night, and that's all that can be on any of their two mains, even Ballyhagan, whatever the outcome comes, whether it's Ulster or whatever, they'll only be thinking of Saturday night and getting over the line, because any team that thinks they're playing a second team or anything like that, the complacency sets in, and Clonard will do a job on them. Like,
I suppose Clonard, Mark, like the whole way throughout the championship at the start of the year, Clonmore, Ballyhagan, and College Land were the three teams come down from intermediate last year, and they were the three teams sort of, earmarked to do good things in this championship to go on, and they were probably the three favourites. But Clonard were always sort of talked about as a dark horse that they could beat a big team, or they could get to a final. They've certainly proved that they've been a dark horse, and now in a two-horse race, anything can happen.
Yeah, anything can happen, surely. Yeah. Well, even in their league form, I think early on, a lot of teams started looking at them. Maybe teams were a bit complacent coming in, thinking, "Oh, it's a second team. It's they've only started. I should beat them." But I think after 3 or 4 games, people started to realize how strong they were and how good the players was in the squad. And you're talking to different people. I was talking to College Land fellas, Clonmore fellas, and they kept sort of saying that Clonard teams ain't too bad. They're going to give us a real push. So there was a few people starting to get a bit worried of them, and here we are. They've got to the final, and and all credit to the whole lot of them that they came in, they believed in it. For some people, sometimes when you're really involved in a senior team, the drop down to this here, some people sort of think, no, it's not for me, or they walk away or whatever. But they didn't. Every man got rode in behind it. the managers, fair play to them. Both them guys were involved with the seniors last year as well. They stood down, they took the team, and all credit to them boys, and they've really made a real team, and there's a real good team spirit amongst them. And as we spoke about earlier, one of the big pluses was the likes of Connor Bell, who came back in that too. He had sort of retired last year for a year, but he came in here now and he gave us a real push. And between him, management, the whole lot, that really drove the whole thing on. And you have to say fair play, like.
Yeah, because probably no matter what happens on Saturday, it's been a successful year for Clonard in their, as you mentioned, in the first year, getting promotion to Division 3A for next season and getting the championship final, getting young boys championship experience that, otherwise probably wouldn't have got it, wouldn't have got on to play for the seniors just yet. They're probably just too young in that. So it's a successful year for them, really. I know that they'll want the cup, obviously, but it's been a successful year, really, no matter what happens.
No, there's no question about that. The reason why we've done it because of the massive numbers that we had, and it got all the guys competitive football. So first of all, people don't realize how difficult it is with the certain rules that you have. If one player plays 1 minute of senior football, that means he's out of the seconds team. So once you have that and you add up the injuries or suspensions and stuff, that makes it a really, really, really hard. But we got through all that, and that was a real plus, and it meant then that the guys got the competitive football. But once they bought into it, that was the key. Once all the fellas bought into it, then they started winning matches. The confidence started getting up. They couldn't wait to get the training, and all of a sudden they could see there's a chance of promotion. And that was a big goal then to get the 3A. So it's going to be a wee bit more competitive and stuff next year. But then once they got the promotion, they realised, hold on here, there's no reason we can't do something in the championship. And our Rogue would have been, one of the favourites as well at the start of the year to do well in the junior championship. But when Clonard beat them in the first group stage, that just gave it an all lift all together again. And here we are in a junior final. And as you say, Clonard's not going here on Saturday night thinking it's been a good year. They're going here inside night to make it a really good year and hopefully take the Sean Quinn Cup home.
And Ballyhagan, obviously, I think when we done our semi-final previews, I think we both tipped Clonmore, Mark, unless you can correct me on that, but I think we both went Clonmore, and as everybody that's been watching all year would know, our predictions haven't been great. So Ballyhagan and Clonard both been nervous about who we're going to predict at the end of the show, but Clonmore were obviously the favourites, league champions, showed really good form throughout the group stages, had a handy quarter-final win. And we did speak about, was that going to catch up on them, while Ballyhagan had a slugfest against Lissummon, got through after extra time. But it probably favoured Ballyhagan having that tough run in, and obviously they're now a tough test in that semi-final. So they're coming into this one battle-hardened and confident after beating, the favourites for the championship.
Yeah, no, Bally, and we had spoke about that before about the Clonmore, and I was very much of the opinion. I know Clonmore didn't. It was an easy enough win, but I was very impressed by their performance. So that's where I seen Clonmore getting over the line against Ballyhagan. But Ballyhagan went to another level. Even they've stepped it up nearly every match they've played, and you'd have to be really impressed by how they played against Clonmore. And so the confidence is really high. As we said, Ballyhagan's expecting to win this championship. And I think when they got to the semi-final against Clonmore, that game stood them. Of course, it stood them against Lissummon, but it was the belief that they got out of getting that win. And again, that local rivalry, the derby games, it's always going to be close. These games were always going to be close, Ballyhagan and Clonmore. And just when it really came to Ballyhagan, just had what it took to get that final and fair play to them.
It was such a tight battle that night, and I know I spoke to Johnny McKeever after the game, the Ballyhagan goalkeeper. He has been living in Doha for the past 2 months or whatever, but he come back for that semi-final. Connor Williamson, who usually plays in around the middle of the field, he was standing in keeper, and as Johnny said on the podcast, that a couple of boys, Jack Roberty tried it, got injured. His brother Joe McKeever tried it, got injured. Kieran Parr got injured while doing that. So Johnny come home, it probably wasn't the best preparation for a championship semi-final living in Doha, but he's had 2 weeks now. He's had the proper build up for the championship final. He's enjoyed it. So him coming back in and getting another 2 weeks under his belt, he's a big boost in between the sticks, Mark, for Ballyhagan.
He is surely, yeah, and he's got a bit of experience, playing through the years. He knows what it takes, and that's massive. To come home and to do that for your club isn't just massive, massive commitment. And I'm sure he's definitely going to be expecting to, have a championship medal to go home with. Um, you know, Goalkeeper is vital. It's a vital position, and I know they have gone through, as you said, different people trying to step in, injuries and stuff. Uh, but when you have a settled goalkeeper, a man that knows what he's about between the sticks, it's going to be a massive boost to Ballyhagen. It's going to fill the defence with a bit more confidence. Midfield will know better about kickouts. Where it's going to go. He'll be able to position them. They'll have worked on that over the last couple of weeks, and he'll be a man that can pinpoint where it needs to go. And where maybe they're not going to win ball, you'll know to keep it away from there. So yeah, that experience and that bit of dedication and commitment that he's shown, that'll just rub off on the rest of the team.
I suppose the fact that the midfield battle is going to be so crucial here. Both goalkeepers are going to obviously be crucial with their kickouts, and with probably a veteran Perrin going up in the middle of the field, and with Mark Hughes from Ballyhagan and Connor Bale for Clonard, maybe going to square off against each other. And could we see, I know in a generation maybe now with short kickouts and kickout tactics, we could just see a big old-fashioned, sort of midfield battle between the pair of them.
Well, I think both them boys would be more than happy with that. You know what I mean? Both of them, they'll love that. The Connor Bell definitely, he'll have no issue. You bang the ball out in the middle, that's bread and butter for Connor Bell. It's likewise with Hughes. He can go and catch a ball. He can go and win a ball. So it'll suit them two down to the ground. And that bit of experience that both of them have, that would be vital. Who would come out and top there? That would be a real vital, part of this game. If whatever one of them two players can come out and top, if that's what they decide to do, and but fair play to both of them. They're really giving their all for their club. I've already spoken about Connor Bell. Just coming in there and really giving it all to give the second team a real boost, and that's what he's done all year. Hughes he's out and out Ballyhagan. He just, I've seen him after the game against Clonmore. You've seen how much it meant them to get to the junior final, and a big performance he put in as well. Sometimes it looks that you don't maybe have the legs and you don't have that, but it's the effort and commitment that these two boys will be showing all over the field. Again, just like McKeever and goals, that rubs off on the rest of the players. They see the effort that these guys are putting in at 38, 39, 40 years of age, and that you can only be inspired by that there. And both teams will get inspiration from these two fellas on Saturday night. And I say, like, that'll go a long way in seeing who wins this game. Midfield battle always is, but you're talking about two leaders of the team, and they're going to go toe to toe with each other, and that'll be a fascinating battle.
I suppose in terms of matchups, Mark, we're expecting Hughes and Bale to line up against each other. For Ballyhagan, I suppose Peter McGrane is somebody that we speak about constantly when we're speaking about Ballyhagan. He's obviously on Kieran McGeeney's county panel. He's one of their best players. He's a real leader in the team. And anytime I had seen Ballyhagan this year, he was playing a more of a freer role. And I think we spoke about that the last time. Probably not so much a sweeper, but just sort of free to play out the field and be a playmaker, be a track and runs back, helping the defence and everything. But the last night against Clonmore, he went back and he played centre half back. He was man marking Sean Quigley, and I think they both scored a point off each other, so he'd have been happy to break even that night. Are we going to see him coming back into centre half back on Saturday night, do you think, to pick up Ethan McKenna, who went off injured against Thomas Davis with a leg injury at half time, but he's probably Clonard's most dangerous attacker. I think he's their top scorer as well throughout the championship. So could we see McGrane maybe going back to limit his influence?
Yeah, well, there's no question McGrane will be going back into that area. I would imagine he will definitely start off by picking up Ethan, but he's so important to Ballyhagan. He has to be an outlet for kickouts, for breaking ball, driving the team forward. So he maybe have one eye on Ethan, but he'll also be trying to put Ethan on the back foot by constantly going forward and setting up attacks. And just, he's the man that wants on the ball. At this level, at the end of the day, it's junior championship. When you have a county man that's trained all year with Armagh, coming back in, he is key. So and it's a double-edged sword. You sort of have to look at it like with Clonard and then try and stop him from coming forward as well, and you don't want Ethan being that man that has to be chasing 40, 50 yards back to watch him. So, maybe Clonard will be looking at that as a road of, whenever he comes forward, somebody else will be there to pick him up. But he's he's the main man he's the main man in around that middle eight. He's the man that they'll want to be on the ball, and that's who their defenders when they're coming out with the ball. He's the man they're looking to pass the ball on to, and then naturally after that, then it's him trying to get the ball to McCormick. But that's not just what all Ballyhagan's about, but they're the key components of how they'll win the championship on Saturday night by making sure that McGreen gets on enough ball and McGreen is driving this thing forward.
Yeah, that's a good point about him pushing forward, Mark, because I think he has scored in most of their games. I know he got a goal against Thomas David the first round. I think he maybe got a goal against Clady as well. He got a point against Clonmore, a point against Lissummon. So he does tend to break forward. And as you said, Clonard don't want Ethan McKenna being that man having to track back into his own defence. So communication is going to be key in around that middle eight for Clonard, and they'll maybe have a designated player that if once McGreen passes the middle of the field or something, you have to go and take him.
Yeah, no, there's no question. There's plenty of legs in Clonard, like there's plenty of youth there. Even Johnny Trode in around the middle will have no problem being able to chase him back as well. Real serious levels of fitness Johnny would have. But he's it's not as easy. You can have all these matchups and you can have it all planned and think this is how we're going to stop him. But he will be a cut above the rest of the players, and it's just really about limiting McGreen, going forward and trying to stop him being the outlet, whenever defenders are coming out with the ball. But when you're at that level, you have to rise above it too. So McGreen will be expected to rise above whatever Clonard throw at him. And on a Clonard perspective, we just hope that on Saturday night he's not able to do that, that we have enough players in around him that he just can't get the momentum. And because when he starts driving forward, it's Ballyhagan drive behind him.
And you mentioned James McCormick as well. Of course, he's going to take watching. He's the top scorer in the junior championship, and he has been in fantastic form throughout the junior championship. He stood up against Lissummon, he stood up against Clonmore, and really, when they needed something special, he produced it. When they needed scores, he produced it. So, you probably know the Clonard defenders better than I do, Mark. Who do you see getting this task? And obviously, it's more than a one-man job.
I would say there's no question that we're going to have to double up on them. We have some very good defenders there. Matthew McKelly would be standout defender. County minor, county under 21. So I would say that Matthew would be someone who would be earmarked to do that. You also have Oscar McKegney there, captain and a real leader in the team, and Oscar is good for a man-to-man job. He would have no problem with it, and it'd be something that if Oscar's been told to do that job, he'll relish it. Like he would just love that there. But then you would have Aidan Cassidy and people like that who would maybe be able to play in round in front of him, and smart, sort of intelligent player would know how to cut the space and stuff out. So yeah, there's two or three there that would be, you'd have confidence in that they could go and do a good enough job. Now, the thing about McCormick is, again, sort of on the lines of McGreen, you're not going to stop McCormick. McCormick's not going to be stopped completely on Saturday. It's just trying how much we can limit him, because once he's on song, he doesn't miss much. Still say, yet the goal in the championship he scored there, it was easily go to the championship. It was just pure individual brilliance. So it was. So when you have that much class, you're hard stopped. But it's about if we can limit McCormick to not 3, not 4, Clonard will be definitely in the driving seat coming down the last 10 or 15 minutes. Like,
And as you say, that's easier said than done, Mark. So it's up to Clanner, and that's the challenge set up for them for Saturday night. So how do you see this one going, Mark? Who's going to get their hands on the Sean Quinn Cup, do you think?
Well, in saying we talked about Ethan McKenna there and how strong and good a forward he is. I think one of our standout players has been Rogan McVeigh as well. He's a real live wire, be very similar to McCormick, and he'll take an awful lot of watching and make him a Kelly and full forward. So, we have forwards there that can do real damage as well. As I said, it's about Clonard trying to limit them key players. If McCormick's on fire and McGrain's on fire and Hughes maybe does well in around the middle, then you have the McCanns and stuff in around the forward line who could row in behind these guys, chip in with a couple of good scores, and Ballyhagan's going to be very hard to stop. But if we can stay in with them and keep them main players to limit them as much as we possibly can, then it's just going to be a real tight game. The problem is Clonard or I know from the semi final or have a few players carrying a few niggles, so just hope to God that all them fellas are available and fit come Saturday night, and because we can't afford to be really losing anybody. You know, with a big enough squad there. The minors and stuff have come in there to boost the sort of numbers in the squad and all, but you have one or two sort of key players that just carrying a few niggles from the semi final. So we need to make sure that they're all available and fit come Saturday night. And this could be a real ding donger. I'm sure some people might be thinking if Ballyhagan can get ahead, they could maybe stretch a lead and all, but it'd be very hard for me to go against Clonard on Saturday night. I won't be doing that, but I know that this is a massive, massive task for Clonard to go and win this. But there's no reason why they can't, and Ballyhagan are favourites and rightly so. But I think Clonard will be really keep it if they can keep this game close and keep in it the last 10 or 15 minutes. You could be looking at extra time here.
Yeah, I definitely wasn't expecting you to tip Ballyhagan, that's for sure. But yeah, I think Clonard I will give a real chance to, because I know their half forward line. You named them, French, McVeigh, and McKenna are all top players and all really. I think McKenna and French are both in our hot shot list at the minute. Of the top scorers in the junior championship. And McVeigh, well, he doesn't always score. He might even, I don't think he even scored the last two games, but he's probably Clonard's best player. He was brilliant, particularly against Clevey in the quarterfinals. So I think if they all perform, Clonard have a real chance here. But I'm gonna tip Ballyhagan to get the job done. That's the easy answer. And I think James McCormick and Peter McGreen, if they perform, then it's definitely Ballyhagan's to lose. So that's on Saturday night, throwing time 6 o'clock, live on Armagh TV. It's part of a double header. The St Peters and Silverbridge Reserve League final is on at 3:45, live on Armagh TV as well. And then there's two hurling finals, the junior and the senior, coming up on Sunday, live on Armagh TV. So make sure to tune into all that if you can't get to any of the games. We'll be back on Saturday evening. Hopefully, we'll have a few interviews from the winning team, and then we'll be looking forward next week to the senior and intermediate championship finals. So we'll chat to you all then. Mark, brilliant to hear from you. Thanks very much for coming on.
John, thank you.